Today, we're diving into a fascinating chapter of history, exploring the life story of Queen Anne Boleyn, our theory of how she escaped her executioner from prison and death, and we'll uncover the intriguing idea that she might have been the mastermind behind her own demise. Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, was a powerful and intelligent woman. She was also the mother of Queen Elizabeth I, 1536, and found herself in a precarious situation, facing a series of charges that could lead to her execution. But here's where the story gets interesting. It's been speculated that Anne might have orchestrated her own downfall, using a combination of deception and secret alliances. She may have even planned her escape from the Tower of London and her exile to France. Anne's courage and cunning have left historians puzzled for centuries. Was she a victim of her own making, or was she a true survivor, manipulating the very forces that sought to destroy her? Don't forget to subscribe to help our channel grow. And now, the theory of how Anne Boleyn escaped to France.
Anne Boleyn's secret is the queen who lived. What if history got it wrong? What if Anne Boleyn never died on that scaffold in 1536? Imagine a secret escape, a daring deception, and a hidden life in exile. In this video, we unravel a theory so shocking, it could change everything we thought we knew about Anne Boleyn. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe and comment. For nearly 5 centuries, the world believed that Anne Boleyn met her tragic fate on May 19, 1536. The condemned queen, clad in a simple grey gown, ascended the scaffold at the Tower of London, murmured her final prayers, and submitted to the French executioner's sword. History tells us that her severed head was held high for the crowd, proof of her fall from grace. But what if it was all a lie? What if Anne Boleyn, the woman who once captured the heart of Henry VIII and changed the course of history, never actually died that day? It sounds like the stuff of wild conspiracy theories, the whispers of romantics who refuse to let her go. But let's step back for a moment and consider the unthinkable. What if Anne Boleyn escaped? The plan no one suspected in had been many things: a seductress, a queen, a mother, and ultimately a prisoner. But one thing history forgets to emphasize enough: she was clever. She played court politics like a chess master, always 3 moves ahead, which is why it seems so unfathomable that she would simply accept her fate. And perhaps she never did. The plan began with a bribe small by noble standards, but invaluable to a desperate woman facing death. A handful of gold coins, discreetly slipped to a trusted guard, was enough to ensure that the execution would proceed, just not as everyone expected. Enter Marguerite de Navarre, the French noblewoman with a striking resemblance to Anne. A distant cousin, she had been smuggled into the Tower days before the execution, hidden away from prying eyes. It was she, not Anne, who knelt before the swordsman that day, her face shrouded beneath a linen coif. The executioner himself, a Frenchman, was in on it. A sharp sword, a swift strike, and the head that rolled into the straw was not Anne's, but her decoy's. Anne, meanwhile, was already en route to the Thames. Disguised in a tattered cloak, she had slipped through the tower's underbelly with the aid of a hooded figure none other than Thomas Wyatt, the poet rumored to have once loved her. A small boat carried them downriver under cover of darkness, away from the city that had condemned her, toward an uncertain future. Don't forget to subscribe to help our channel grow. Escape to the shadows. The journey across the channel was treacherous. Anne, accustomed to silks and banquets, found herself seasick and shivering on a vessel reeking of fish and sweat. Every time the boat rocked, she was reminded how fragile her escape was. One wrong word, one suspicious glance, and she would be dragged back to England, to the real execution she had barely evaded. Wyatt, ever the poet, tried to keep her spirits up. "You're free now, Anne," he whispered one night, as they huddled under ragged blankets. "You can become anyone." But who? Who could Anne Boleyn be if she were not the Queen of England? The answer came as the French coastline emerged through the mist. The court of Marguerite of Navarre, the very woman who had helped orchestrate her escape, awaited them. Marguerite, a powerful patron of the arts and an early reformist, had long sympathized with Anne's plight. In her court, Anne could vanish into a world of scholars, poets, and thinkers where the English crown had no reach. And so, Anne Boleyn was no more. In her place, Lady Rennie du Bois was born. A queen in exile for years, Rennie du Bois lived in quiet obscurity, her sharp tongue restrained, her laughter muted by fear of discovery. She watched from the shadows as Henry VIII married Jane Seymour, as Elizabeth, her daughter, was deemed illegitimate. The pain of separation was unbearable, but to return was to die. Still, the fire in Anne never truly died. She did not merely exist, she thrived. As Rennie, she became a patron of the French Reformation, secretly exchanging letters with English courtiers who still held her in esteem. She heard whispers of Henry's growing paranoia, his leg rotting from infection, his wife's dropping dead. Some days, she allowed herself to dream. What if he knew she lived? What would he do? Then, one fateful evening, an English diplomat arrived at Marguerite's court. Eustace Chapuis. Anne knew him well. He had been her enemy at Henry's court, the ambassador of Spain who had sided with Catherine of Aragon against her. If anyone could recognize her, it was him. Heart pounding, she remained in the shadows of the banquet hall as Chapuis conversed with the Queen of Navarre. Then, in a moment of chilling realization, his eyes met hers. A flicker of shock, a tightening of his lips, a sharp intake of breath. Anne braced herself for betrayal, for the cry of treason that would seal her fate at last. Instead, Chapuis did something she never expected. He smiled. Don't forget to subscribe to help our channel grow. The ultimate twist: Chapuis never said a word. He never reported her presence to Henry, never revealed her secret. Perhaps it was out of respect for the woman who had once been queen, or perhaps it was because he too had come to see Henry for the tyrant he was. Whatever the reason, Anne's secret remained safe. But fate, ever the fickle mistress, had one last twist in store. Years later, as Henry lay dying, rumors began to swirl in the French court that a mysterious Englishwoman had been living in secret exile. The whispers reached Elizabeth, now a young girl of immense intelligence, whose fiery spirit had always been rumored to mirror her mother's. One evening, a hooded messenger arrived at the French chateau where Rennie du Bois resided. A trembling page boy handed her a letter, the wax seal unmistakable. The Tudor rose. With shaking hands, she unfolded the parchment. The message was brief, but it was enough to steal her breath away. If you still live, come to me. Elizabeth, did Anne Boleyn ever return? History does not record what became of Rennie du Bois. Some say she died in France, her secret buried with her. Others whisper of a veiled woman in black, seen slipping into England under the cover of night, making her way to a young princess who would one day become one of the greatest queens in history. Did Anne and Elizabeth ever reunite? Did the daughter ever look into the eyes of the mother she had lost? We may never know. But one thing is certain. Anne Boleyn was a woman who defied expectations, even in death. And if she had one last trick up her sleeve, will we really be so surprised? Don't forget to subscribe to help our channel grow. Comment and let me know what you think about this theory. Share this video and bang that bell to get the new and additional videos.